with no training in music.
None.
Did you think you'd be good at this?
I never thought I would have a musical ear. I never thought I'd have a natural gift.
And when you see, there's no artist, let me be clear, there's no artist in this industry that's doing major numbers with these platforms that haven't sold their soul.
Alicia Keys has finally confirmed what Clive Davis and Jay-Z did to her, and trust us, it's bigger, darker, and more twisted than anyone could have imagined. For years, Alicia Keys was the golden girl of the music industry, the soulful prodigy with the braids and the piano. She was the artist who could do no wrong, exuding grace, talent, and authenticity. But behind the perfect image, there's a story of power, control, and manipulation. A story that Alicia herself has now revealed in ways that leave us questioning everything we thought we knew about her rise to fame.
Well, for somebody who doesn't fit into an era musically, what is your inspiration? What do you tap into?
Everything. Everything. I love to listen to everything. I love to listen to things that I love, new discoveries. I love listening to new artists. I love, taking it back to like the eras of the 30s and the 50s and the 60s.
When Alicia Keys first stepped into the spotlight, she was only a teenager. She was a natural talent, her voice raw and soulful, her energy electric. But what most people don't know is that her discovery by the legendary Clive Davis was no mere coincidence. Clive Davis, the man behind some of the biggest names in music, was known for shaping artists. But shaping, in this case, might be putting it lightly. Insiders have whispered for years about how Davis crafted Alicia Keys' debut album, Songs in a Minor, into the perfect commercial product. It became a Grammy-winning masterpiece, yes, but at what cost? We've heard whispers that Davis didn't just guide her career, but orchestrated every detail of it. He allegedly repackaged her music, polished her image, and even dictated how she presented herself to the public. Alicia, who was full of dreams and ambition, may have unknowingly walked into a web spun by Davis's careful hands. Some say she wasn't allowed to express her true artistic self, that her debut wasn't so much her authentic sound, but what Davis thought the world would buy. And it worked. Songs in A Minor was an unparalleled success, earning her 5 Grammys and cementing her as a global superstar. But here's the thing, was it really her meteoric rise? Or was it Clive Davis carefully pulling the strings, creating a controversy-free, perfectly marketable icon? Think about it. Alicia Keys was always portrayed as untouchable, a pure and unproblematic force in the industry. But what if that was by design? There are rumors that Davis used his enormous influence to sideline other artists in order to pour resources into Alicia, ensuring her success while keeping her image spotless.
And strictly for the purposes of financial gain for those who have access to her estate, including Clive Davis.
Including Clive Davis.
And it didn't stop at the music. The control extended to her public persona, her interviews, even her personal relationships. Sources close to the industry allege that Davis played a significant role in shaping not just Alicia's career, but her entire life. It's hard not to wonder how much of Alicia's success was truly her own and how much was meticulously engineered by the man who discovered her. But Clive Davis wasn't the only powerful figure shaping Alicia's trajectory. Enter Jay-Z, the rap mogul who would later become inextricably linked to Alicia through their smash hit Empire State of Mind. On the surface, it was a classic collaboration, 2 New York City icons coming together to create an anthem for the ages. But was there more to it than music? Why, out of all the artists Jay-Z could have chosen, did he push for Alicia over someone like Mary J. Blige? Was it really just her voice, or was there something deeper at play?
Jay-Z new video with Nas and DJ Khaled is a scene with checkerboards. These are all occult Satanists.
Here's where it gets even more intriguing. Insiders have speculated that Empire State of Mind wasn't just a song, but a calculated move to cement Alicia Keys' place in a very specific narrative. Jay-Z, like Clive Davis, is known for his ability to craft stories, not just in music, but in the public eye. Some suggest that their collaboration was strategic, a way to elevate Alicia's career while simultaneously reinforcing Jay-Z's own dominance in the industry. And then there are the rumors of a personal bond between the two. Over the years, whispers have surfaced about Jay-Z and Alicia sharing a connection that went beyond the studio. While nothing concrete has ever been proven, the speculation alone has fueled intrigue. Could it be that this bond played a role in their collaboration? And what did Clive Davis think of it? Was he too involved in shaping this partnership, ensuring that Alicia stayed on the carefully curated path he'd laid out for her?
Has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
What's even more unsettling is the suggestion that Davis and Jay-Z may have worked together to control Alicia's career trajectory. Both men are titans in the industry with the kind of power that most of us can't even fathom. If they did collaborate behind the scenes, what did that mean for Alicia? Was she trapped in a power dynamic that left her with little agency over her own career? It's worth noting that Alicia has always been vocal about staying true to herself. In interviews, she's spoken about the importance of authenticity and individuality. But if you read between the lines, there's often a sense that she's pushing back against something or someone. Could it be that Alicia has spent years quietly fighting to reclaim her own narrative, to break free from the grip of these industry titans?
Feels amazing.
Right.
So what was your inspiration for the record?
It was more the concept of like jumping without inhibition, like describing this idea of like actually jumping out of the plane instead of convincing yourself that you're gonna fall, you're gonna get, so this idea of believe just.
And now for the first time, it seems like she's ready to tell her side of the story. Alicia's recent actions and statements suggest that she's finally breaking free from the chains that once bound her. She's returned to her roots, visiting her old high school and reflecting on her journey. She's launched new projects, including a Broadway musical that feels deeply personal, and she's spoken out about the importance of being yourself, of standing out by staying true to who you are. But here's the question we can't stop asking. Is this Alicia's way of reclaiming her life? Or is it just the beginning of the truth coming to light? After years of silence, is she finally pulling back the curtain on what really happened behind the scenes? Or is there still more to the story, more secrets, more manipulation, more revelations that we have yet to uncover? And what about Clive Davis and Jay-Z? Are they still pulling the strings? Or has Alicia managed to escape their influence entirely? The answers may be closer than we think.
But still, I just don't want to experience that. I don't want to experience none of that.
I'll never do it again.
But here's the thing that has kept us all guessing. Alicia Keys' silence. Over the years, she has remained remarkably tight-lipped about her personal life, her controversies, and the industry powers that have shaped her. It's as if she's been playing an elaborate game of chess, always one move ahead of the speculation, always keeping the public guessing. We have to wonder, though, was this silence her choice, or was it yet another carefully orchestrated part of her image, controlled by the very figures who helped build her career? Take, for example, the controversy surrounding her relationship with Swizz Beatz. When their romance first became public, it was clouded by whispers of scandal. Swizz was still married at the time, and Alicia's involvement was widely criticized. For someone whose brand was built on authenticity and integrity, this was a glaring contradiction. But instead of addressing the rumors head-on, Alicia stayed quiet. No tell-all interviews, no defensive social media posts, just silence. It's almost as if the entire situation was swept under the rug, leaving us to wonder, was her silence a calculated move to preserve her image? Some believe that Clive Davis himself may have stepped in to manage the narrative, ensuring that Alicia's perfect persona remained intact. After all, scandal doesn't sell when you're supposed to be the industry's golden girl.
After they are done with Diddy, Jay-Z is up next to be exposed, right?
And then there's the question of whether her relationship with Swizz Beatz was more than just a love story. Could it have been strategically beneficial, a way to shift the focus away from the rumors and reinforce the idea of Alicia as a grounded, family-oriented artist? Let's not forget that Swizz Beatz, a highly influential producer, also has deep ties to the music industry. Together, they became the picture-perfect power couple, complete with adorable children and public displays of affection. But was it all as organic as it seemed? Or was this yet another chapter in the carefully written script of Alicia Keys' life?
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, because when you grow up in a certain environment, I get enough adrenaline rushes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. And
I
the
had
way my
enough
anxiety set
thrills.
up, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm
There's something undeniably captivating about the power dynamics between Clive Davis, Jay-Z, and the artists they've helped shape. Both men have been praised as visionaries, but their rise to the top hasn't been without controversy. Clive Davis, often referred to as the godfather of the music industry, has weathered whispers of manipulation for decades. Many believe that his greatest strength isn't just discovering talent, but controlling it. Behind his polished public image lies a history of quietly silencing dissent and ensuring his artists followed his blueprint. Some insiders have speculated that Davis's influence extended far beyond business decisions, even into the personal lives of the talents he signed. Could Alicia's relationship trajectory be yet another example of this behind-the-scenes engineering?
Davis has always assumed a far more active role than most record company presidents. That's why he was a pioneer in the 60s. It's also why he has survived into the 80s.
Jay-Z, on the other hand, has always been a master of reinvention. From his early days hustling in Brooklyn to becoming a global business mogul, his story is one of grit and determination. But it hasn't been without its shadows. Before he became a billionaire, Jay-Z was tied to some of the murkiest corners of New York's underworld. His lyrics have always flirted with tales of street life, and while some dismiss them as artistic embellishment, others argue they're rooted in truth. Let's not forget his 1999 trial where he was charged with felony assault after allegedly stabbing a record producer at a Manhattan nightclub. Although he later pled guilty to a lesser charge, the incident hinted at a darker side to his rise. A man willing to protect his empire by any means necessary.
That I have a very special connection with artists, with music, I certainly know I had it with him.
What's even more fascinating is the way these two power brokers, Clive Davis and Jay-Z, seem to have operated in parallel, often intersecting at pivotal moments in their careers. Both men have used their influence to open doors for others, but they've also been accused of closing doors just as quickly when someone didn't fit into their plans. There are stories of artists who were blacklisted, careers that were quietly ended after falling out of favor with these industry titans. Could this be why Alicia Keys has walked such a fine line over the years, avoiding any public fallout with either of them? It's hard to ignore the possibility that Alicia's silence wasn't just a personal choice, but a survival tactic.
He needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
Jay-Z's reputation as a savvy businessman often overshadows the allegations that have followed him throughout his career. His involvement in the Rockefeller empire wasn't just about music, it was about building a dynasty. But with that ambition came whispers of questionable deals and alliances. Some suggest that his partnership with Live Nation, which helped launch his billion-dollar Roc Nation brand, was far from clean. Allegations have surfaced over the years about backdoor agreements and strong-arm tactics used to dominate the music scene. And while nothing has ever been proven, it's clear that power in the entertainment industry often comes at a cost, one that may not always be visible to the public.
And we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
Clive Davis, too, has had his fair share of skeletons in the closet. Beyond the polished exterior of a man who has shaped the careers of icons like Whitney Houston and Janis Joplin, there are darker whispers. Some have accused him of exploiting the vulnerabilities of those he signed, using their personal struggles as leverage to maintain control. While Davis has always denied such claims, the pattern is hard to ignore. Time and again, his artists have spoken about feeling trapped, their creative freedom stifled in favor of commercial success. Was Alicia's journey any different, or did she, too, find herself caught in the same web that has ensnared so many before her?
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past.
Together, Jay-Z and Clive Davis represent two sides of the same coin. One builds empires on the streets and in the boardroom, while the other crafts icons in the studio and on stage. But their methods, though different, share a common thread: control. Whether it's Jay-Z's calculated business moves or Clive Davis's meticulous artist management, both men have shaped the music industry in their image. And yet, their legacies are far from spotless. Could Alicia Keys' story be the missing piece that sheds light on the lengths these men, and others like them, are willing to go to maintain their grip on power?
I feel like I'm in my own lane anyway.
Definitely are.
Yeah, so I can see why people wouldn't, because I don't really belong there.
What's fascinating is how Alicia has navigated backlash over the years without ever seeming to lose her footing. Even her no-makeup movement, which was initially celebrated as empowering, faced criticism. Some accused her of using it as a marketing ploy, a way to stand out in an industry obsessed with beauty. Yet Alicia never wavered. She doubled down on her message of authenticity, turning the conversation back to self-love and individuality. But again, was this truly her voice, or was it the voice of a team working to maintain her position as an untouchable icon? And then there's her latest project, the Broadway musical Hell's Kitchen. On the surface, it's a creative triumph, inspired by her upbringing and filled with original music. But for those paying close attention, it feels like something more, a window into her inner world. While Alicia insists the story isn't autobiographical, fans and critics can't help but draw parallels between the protagonist's journey and Alicia's own life. The musical explores themes of control, rebellion, and identity, raising the question: is this Alicia's subtle way of exposing the truth about her career? Could Hell's Kitchen be her quiet rebellion against the very forces that have controlled her narrative for so long? The timing of the musical is particularly interesting. Alicia has described it as a love letter to her past, but it also feels like a statement, an acknowledgement of the struggles she's faced and the strength it took to overcome them. Watching the story unfold, it's hard not to see echoes of a young Alicia Keys, navigating the pressures of fame and the weight of expectation. Is she finally telling her story, piece by piece, through the characters and music of Hell's Kitchen? Or is this just another carefully crafted layer to her public persona?
It's turned out to be total hogwash. Music is unique, music is special, music has a very individual, meaningful role in society, not only to youth.
What's undeniable is that Alicia's journey is part of a much larger narrative about the music industry's obsession with power and control. Clive Davis and Jay-Z are just two of the many players in an industry where artists are often treated as commodities, their lives and careers shaped by those who hold the reins. Alicia's story forces us to question how much of what we see is real and how much is manufactured. Was her rise to fame truly a testament to her talent? Or was it the result of behind-the-scenes deals and strategic alliances? And if she was molded into the perfect industry pawn, what does that say about the system as a whole?
This is what I look for. When I see a success, I'm looking for anything
to say that they didn't do it on their own?
Detain it, not to say
That's not a good way.
Even now, as Alicia steps into what seems like a new chapter of her life, we can't help but wonder how much of her story is truly her own. She has broken her silence in subtle but significant ways, yet the full truth remains elusive. Is she finally free from the grip of the industry titans who once controlled her every move? Or are there still secrets waiting to be uncovered, truths that could shatter the image we've come to know? Alicia Keys may have started to share her truth, but the question remains: how much of her story is hers to tell, and how much was written by the men who claimed to make her a star? Let us know what you think in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Until then, stay curious.